Imagine that you are powerful beyond your wildest dreams. Your own unique and powerful soul is your very essence, leading you closer to the true source of beauty, magnificence, and wonder that is found deep within your being. Powerful Soul is about you. It's about helping you uncover the true nature of your soul. Once you understand the power of who you truly are, you will be unstoppable and you will begin to live your best life. This show is a tool to help you, once again, reclaim the power of your soul.
No matter how hard I look, I'm still blind. It's not what you see.
Welcome to Powerful Soul. I'm your host, Laurie Micah, and today we are going to be talking about the power of the ripple effect. Oh my gosh, I'm really excited to talk about this today. This is something that I really and truly think about on a daily basis and that I have put into practice for many, many years. And I think it's a concept that you might be familiar with on the periphery, but it might not be something that you've spent very much time thinking about. And one of the reasons that it's really come to the forefront of my mind is because one of the things that I do personally to raise my soul's vibration is that I love to find and listen to near-death experiences where they've died and gone to the other side and come back with new insights and a different perspective based on what they saw when they left their body. And one of the things that I've noticed that these near-death experiencers have really communicated is the fact that we are so intimately connected to each other that there literally is no separation, which means that everything we do to another, we truly do to ourselves. And that brings me to the idea of the ripple effect. I think that the ripple effect is the greatest effect that we have by living on this planet. And it's something that we do every single day, whether you're aware of it or not. You send ripples of your energy into the world, sometimes intentionally, many times unintentionally, and the ripples are either good, bad, neutral, but it doesn't matter how you send them out or what they are. They emanate from you in ways that you probably will not fully understand until you have the ability to view this lifetime from a different perspective. And I'm talking about like when we die and we go to the other side and we have what is often referred to as a life review, where you look at every single moment of your life and you experience not only from your perspective, it'll be a detached perspective because you won't be so emotionally attached the way that we are in this human body, but not only do you experience everything, every moment that you had in your lifetime, but you experience it from all the perspectives of the people that were affected by your actions, your thoughts, and everything that you did in your life. So it's really important to consider the ripple effect, and I hope that this episode will help sort some of those things out and maybe give you something to really think about. How your ripples are emanating into the world. What are you sending out? Because truly, whatever we are sending out into the world as powerful souls, we are actually attracting back to us. And that's probably one of the biggest reasons that this is something I want to discuss on Powerful Soul, because it is a powerful concept. And if you can be conscious of it, then maybe you can affect your ripples in such a way that it improves your life and draws to you those things that you've been wishing to have. Okay, so I mentioned that every thought, every word, and every action sends ripples into the world, good or bad. So what do I mean by that? All right, let's just think about a normal day. Let's say that you are walking down the street and you encounter a stranger. So you have lots of choices on how you're going to react to that person. Maybe you divert your eyes and you don't look at them, but maybe instead you choose to look at that person and smile. Imagine that one simple action has a reaction to somebody else. What if somebody was having a terrible day and your smile brightened their day in a way that affected how they send ripples out into the world? It's kind of that age-old story about doing something mean to somebody, and then they in turn ruins their day, and they go home and they kick their dog, yell at their kids, and it's a ripple. What we do, how we act, what we say, and even what we think really does affect everybody around us. And so it's really important because this is just a product of being human and it's part of our human experience, but you are constantly affecting the energy of the world. And I really believe that there is what is referred to as a universal consciousness. And that universal consciousness is made up of every single thought, action, deed of every person who is living a life on this earthly plane right now. And I also think it's probably made up of spirits on the other side, but usually when we're talking about universal consciousness, it's everybody, but there is certainly a consciousness that comes from this planet, and it definitely has an effect on everybody everywhere. And I think that the more that we're aware of this, the more we can make decisions that affect us in a positive way and affect others in a positive way. So we've talked before on this show about soul contracts. And I think soul contracts are an amazing example of ways that we have ripple effects and interactions because our actions and thoughts and deeds most affect the people that are closest to us, those people that we interact with on a daily basis, the people that you're living with at your house, the people that you're talking to on the phone. If you are working in a job where you're in an office setting, you are interacting with people very closely around you as you're interacting in this world and going out into stores and attending different events, your energy is absolutely affecting everybody. And even when we're driving, what we do in our car still has a ripple effect. And I think it's kind of funny that when people get in their cars, they seem to think that their actions and their thoughts are anonymous. I don't know how many times you can think of that somebody did something in front of you and you instantly yelled at them. Maybe you swore at them, maybe you kind of balled your fist in the air and, shook your fist at them. Some people get even more obnoxious than that, but those actions do have an effect. Even though we think that we are maybe anonymous because we're in our car, I think that sometimes the more anonymous we are, the more we tend to let our guard down and maybe say or do things that we would never say or do in person. I think social media is a great example of that. I know that people love to leave comments in social media, on Facebook, on videos on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter, and all those social media outlets. In a way, we are hidden, especially if we've used a name that isn't directly tied to us or a picture that's not directly tied to us. And for some people, it lets them kind of unleash and say or do things almost in an alter ego kind of way. But we need to understand that no matter what, no matter if we are anonymous, it still sends a ripple into the world. And just because you've couched who you are and maybe said something in a way that affects somebody else, it still has the same effect, whether you think you've done it anonymously or not, whether it can be traced back directly to you or not. It's kind of that adage of what do you do when you don't think anybody's looking? Because truly, even when somebody's not looking, the ripple effect doesn't cease to exist. It still exists. The last way that we affect other people is really with our thoughts. And I think in some ways this is the most dangerous because talk about being anonymous. Unless you are a certified mind reader, maybe you can feel energy. Certainly everybody can feel energy, whether you're aware of it very consciously or not. There are a lot of people who are living on this planet right now who are empaths. And an empath is somebody who has the ability to feel and absorb the energies around them. I think that there's a great example of going to a very large event, like a large sporting event or a concert where a lot of people have gathered, or a rally. This is why we would have those rallies like in high school where everybody would have an assembly and you would get all charged up and be rooting for your team to win, like the homecoming game or something. It's because when we massively interact our energies with other people, that energy increases. And so our thoughts have that same effect. Our thoughts are still affecting the energy and the people around us, whether they can hear what your thoughts are or not. So it's one thing to say something out loud. I think often we are more careful about what we say out loud and how we say it. But you need to remember that the things that you are repeating over and over again in your head, it really affects the other person. And I'm going to give you a really good example. So let's say that there's a person that you work with that you're not particularly fond of, okay? And you interact with them. And maybe you are trying to be very polite. And so you're sitting there and smiling and nodding and having just a normal conversation with them, talking about whatever. Maybe it's something at work or maybe it's the weather. But at the same time in your mind, you're actually thinking, boy, that person's such a jerk. I don't like them. That person isn't my favorite person. Your energy affects that person in a way that no matter what you're saying, even if you're smiling and you think you're a really great actor or actress and you think that person isn't picking up what you are thinking, they actually are. And so you're kind of counteracting your ripples when you are saying one thing and thinking another. So I think it's really important wherever you can to stand in your truth and to really kind of monitor your thoughts in a way to make sure that they are serving you the best way that they can. Now, we're all human. So, of course, you're going to have times where your emotions get the best of you. We're going to feel mad. We're going to feel anger directed towards another person. It's just part of the human experience. But I think the more that we learn how to detach from those emotions and realize how connected we are to the other people around us, the more kind we are in our thoughts, the more sympathetic, empathetic we are when we're considering our interactions with other people. Okay, so we're going to take a little break here, and I want to talk about something really fun. It's fall now. It's kind of the end of the summer, and I miss summer. I miss blueberry picking, and I miss eating all those amazing fresh fruits that I'm able to get that are just really not commonly produced this time of year. So I'm going to tell you about one of my obsessions. It is Stonewall Kitchen's Wild Maine Blueberry Jam. And this is something that I found many, many years ago. It is so delicious. It's a little pricey. It's kind of like a gourmet product. Sometimes it's difficult to find in a normal grocery store, although I have been seeing Stonewall Kitchen products popping up in all kinds of stores. Like I've seen them, I think, at Target. Certainly you can get this online. It's a little bit expensive, but I feel like it lasts for a long time. The first ingredient is blueberries, little wild Maine blueberries. And it also has sugar, fruit pectin, lemon juice, and citric acid. So the next time you are thinking you might want something different, a little splurge, something that, makes you feel good when you eat it, I highly recommend Stonewall Kitchen's Blueberry Jam. So we've been talking about the ripple effect that we send into the world, and we've talked about how our actions affect the ripple, how our words affect the ripple, and how our thoughts affect the ripple. So I always like this to bring this back to you being a powerful soul. And I think knowledge is power. And the more you know, the more you're aware, the better that we do. So I'm hoping that this is something that can make a difference. It's something that you'll spend a little bit of time thinking about. And I would like to challenge you to monitor your actions. See what you're sending out into the world. When you're having conversations with people, monitor your thoughts. Notice what you're thinking as you are speaking to somebody. And of course, monitor your words, because more than anything else, I think our words and our actions have a bigger impact on other people. People don't always pick up the energy or understand that they're absorbing the energy from the thoughts that you send them, but they certainly are deeply impacted by words. And also certainly by our actions. So I talked about one of the things that has been very important to me is I literally have a practice of trying to affect the ripples in the world by sending positive energy into the world. And back in 2014, I began painting these little flying hearts with banners attached to them and positive messages. And over the course of 4 years, I painted 400 of these paintings. And it's it's a labor of love that I produce in a website that I call soulheartart.com. But you may have also seen this and connected to it in Facebook. I have a Facebook page called Soul Heart Art XO. I talk about the ripple effect. And one day I was laying in bed and I had this idea. I think that when we go into a state of relaxation, or when we are doing something very repetitive, like taking a shower, washing the dishes, something that we do, time and time again, many times over our life, it lets our mind go into kind of a meditative state. And I also think that time right before we start to fall asleep, kind of as we're quieting our mind and trying to get ready to go to sleep, I've noticed that I've received some amazing messages. And there was a vision that I had in my mind of a heart touching its wing and having these waves of ripples coming out, emanating from its wing and going out into the world. And I painted a series of 4 paintings that were called Ripples of Inspiration, Ripples of Kindness, Ripples of Forgiveness, and Ripples of Love. Of all of these, I think the most important is the ripples of love, because I really do believe for each and every soul who chooses to incarnate in this earthly body and have an earthly experience, I believe that one of the biggest lessons that we are all meant to learn is the lesson of love. And the lesson of love is it's really important because from my experiences of spending time on the other side, the one overwhelming thing that I can tell you about this universe is that the only thing that there really is love. And I know sometimes being in this human body, having these human experiences, hearing about things that happen that aren't fair to other people, that, people get sick and people die. And, we have these things that are bad, that change us and can scar us for life. But really, at the core of everything, love is the most important lesson that we are here to learn. And I think that when we have our life review, how we spread love, how we acted in ways that were loving towards others, but even maybe sometimes more importantly toward ourselves, is the thing that we will judge the most about our lifetime. It's the thing that we will look at with the biggest magnifying glass to see where we were able to overcome all of the earthly experiences, all of the bad things that happened, all the negative things that happened. And we will look at how we were able to respond in ways that were still loving. So I think it's so important to look at the ripple effect that you are sending into the world in love, and to look at ways that you can send ripples that inspire other people. Each of us is such a special soul, and we all come here with our own very unique gifts. Every single one of you listening to this podcast has an amazing gift that is specific only to you. And you're the only one who can gift your special talent into this world. And it might be something, it doesn't have to be anything elaborate. You don't have to be Michelangelo painting the Sistine Chapel. You don't have to be somebody with an amazing singing voice. You don't have to have any other special talent other than you are you, and you have a very unique way that you spread your love and your light into this world. And I want you to think about what your special gift is. Maybe you have a beautiful smile that when you gift that to another person, lights up the room, fills their heart with joy and love and inspiration. Maybe you are an amazing baker, and you are making amazing food and you are sending that into the world, and that is causing joy. Maybe you're an amazing gardener, and when you plant flowers with your special green thumb, you are making the world a more beautiful place. There are so many infinite talents that each and every one of us possess, different from everyone else. And those gifts are meant to send beautiful ripples into the world. So I'd like you to spend a little bit of time thinking about what your special gift is. Maybe it's your kindness. Maybe it's your forgiveness. And maybe it's your ability to love yourself. And you become an example then to others. And they look at you and they say, oh, that's how it's done. Oh, I see. I'm kind to myself. Maybe I need to be more kind to myself. All right, I'm going to take another quick break here. And I want to talk about something very dear to my heart. 2020, I know, has been, boy, an interesting year for a lot of us. And I was thinking today about some of the really good things that have happened in 2020. And one of the things that I was finally able to bring into the world are 8 little soul heart art books that I've created. I took about probably 6 to 8 months to put these all together so that I could put them in a format that I could have as little gift books. But I have created 8 little soul heart art gift books. And I mentioned that I painted 400 paintings over 4 years. And I've taken 40 paintings and their accompanying soul whisper, and I've created little books. One is called Whispers from the Soul. I've created one called Whispers of Empowerment, Whispers of Encouragement to Love Again, Whispers of Friendship and Inspiration, Whispers of Gratitude and Happiness, Whispers of Inspiration, Whispers of Love, and Whispers of Positive Thoughts and Inspiration. And every one of these books has 40 different paintings, and each one of them is not repeated in any other book. So if you choose to collect them for yourself, you'll have a pretty full collection of our soul heart art paintings, and they make wonderful gifts. And I think it's a great way for you to send more inspiration into the world. So I'm really happy to bring these to you. They're available for purchase on Amazon, and I hope that you will check them out, and I hope you love them. Okay, I wanted to share these with you because we talk about our ripple effect on others, and the last thing I want to really talk about for the ripples are the ripples of self-love. Self-love is something that is so important. And we've talked about this on other Powerful Soul podcasts, but I always want to bring it up again because we've talked about that mirror exercise, looking into the mirror and asking yourself, honestly, how do I feel about me? And depending on how you answer that, if you're not saying, I love myself when you look into the mirror, and this is not selfish, this is not conceited, this is not anything but the love that we are supposed to have for ourselves, because until you can find a way to truly love yourself, it's very difficult for you to really love anybody else. And it's very difficult for you to attract the love that you truly deserve to yourself until you learn how to say, I love myself. So I always want to bring that up and remind you, because this does affect the ripples that you're sending into the world. If you think to yourself all day long, I don't like myself, I'm stupid, I'm not successful, I'm not worthy, or whatever it is that you're telling yourself, you need to change those thoughts into something more positive, because it's so important for you to find those things that are lovable about yourself. I promise you, you have many, many, many things that are so lovable about yourself. And you have every single person who is listening has many people who love them. You really and truly do. And what you are sending into the world is coming back to you. And that is truth. The ripples go out from you, but eventually they touch the shore and they do come back to you, good or bad. So attract what you want to have in your life by beginning to send out to others what you want to come back to you. And that's truth. Okay, so I think that does it for today's podcast of Powerful Soul. I hope you enjoyed the ripple effect. I hope I've given you some things to think about. Maybe you are already doing every single thing I've talked about. And if you are, God bless you, good for you. Keep on doing what you're doing. The world needs your beautiful, positive energy, sending love and more light into this world. I am so proud of you. I am so happy for you. I am so grateful for you taking the time to listen to this episode on Powerful Soul. If you would like to reach me, you can find me on YouTube, on Instagram, and on my website, lauriemicah.com. I invite you again to join me on my Soul Heart Art page on Facebook. And I would love to hear from you and your stories or any comments you have, either here on the bottom of this podcast or on the contact page of my lauriemicah.com website. So shout out to Kate Usher and the Sturdy Souls as they take it away with Life is Beautiful. Never forget that you are a powerful soul, and the essence of you is pure spirit. You are a soul in a body, not a body with a soul. A part of your lesson here on this earth is to remember who you truly are. You are beautiful beyond measure, and together we can change the world. Thank you, and I look forward to connecting with you again very soon.
So just be you, your beautiful self. 'Cause when you love you, you don't need nobody else. Singing la-ti-da-di-da, oh la-ti-da-ti-da-di-da. Life is beautiful when you know just who you are. La-ti-da-di-da, oh la-ti-da-ti-da-di-da. Life is beautiful.